Today's talk will be by Romain Rastel. He is out of Europe, I believe, located in France, correct?
That's it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Brittany, France.
He is a passionate developer with 10 years of experience. He loves Flutter. He has been maintaining some packages since 2018. One that I actually use, which is part of the topic of his talk today, is Binder, which is a nice state management library. If you're coming from RiverPod and you want something with somewhat of a smaller API service layer, Binder might be perfect for you. He currently works for a company in France as a lead developer where he convinced his managers to choose Flutter instead of Xamarin for new projects. And that choice was very successful. But now he's a freelance developer and he's got over 3 years of experience in Flutter, and he's trying to help companies build their 5-star mobile apps. So I'm going to go ahead and mute and hide my camera, and then we'll let Roman take us away.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. So I will present you today Binder, and I will start to show my screen share. Yes. So you should see my screen. If you're not, tell me if you don't see my screen. So today to present you Binder, I will live coding a small app. So the small app is right here. There is some things already done because I won't do all the layouts in this presentation. The interesting thing is Binder, and it's not the layout. But first, I will show you all the files. So the first file is the main file, the main title. You may know it, I hope. So you will see here the my app app. So the app we launch when we launch Flutter. Okay, my phone go to okay. So this is very simple. We have a material app with a simple home screen. The home screen is right there. So this is the home screen, and I like to split all my widgets in multiple small widgets, and if each widget is a semantic part of my page. Let's see this. So I have a scaffold, a sephora, a scroll view, and in its scroll view I have multiple things. First, I use Gap, which is a small library to put spaces between items in a column or in a row. I use it instead of Sidebox because it's simpler for me, because I'm lazy. I don't have to push here width or height depending if I am in a column or a row. So I use it everywhere. So the first important widget of this app is the header. This is what I call the header. So then we have the remaining points. Oh, sorry, I didn't present you what is this app. So this app is like the dashata before Flutter Engage. We had the opportunity to create a dashata. We have to select some stats, and with these stats, a dashata will be created. So my app here take a dashata, and I want a dashata to be able to. I want to be able to put to give some statistics to my dashata, and to level up when all of the remaining points are done. So I have we have 8 points to give to the stats for each level, and when these points are down to 0, we can level up. So the app should display here the name of my dashata, the current level, the current points remaining. Here I have 4 stats, the same stats as we can see in the dashata or website. We have here the current value depending the current value of the stat of the current level. We have here the difference between the next level and the current one. This is when we will click on plus, this will increment, and when we will click on minus, this will decrement. And we have a small button to level up when we can. So for the moment, there is no state attached to this. We can't do anything interesting, but we will fix that later. So yes, so the remaining points, this is this part. After that, I have 4 widgets. Each widget is a StatCounter widget. I will explain it later. And at the end, I have the level up button. I won't go in each of one because we'll have to go there later. But this is they are very simple widgets. So the StatCounter widgets is also split up in multiple widgets because at first we have the stat name. Here we have the stat value. Here the difference. And the decrement button and the increment button. So I do this because we can easily test them later by with the Finder. When we want to test widgets, we can give them type or keys. I prefer to give them type because keys, I have to create some keys if I want to be able to get them for testing, whereas the type is already given. So that's why I like also to give them public names and just put an annotation so that they can be used everywhere in the app. So let's get started with Binder. The first thing to do is to add it in the pubspec layout, pubspec YAML file. So I will increment this. The latest one is this version. So normally, if I have internet, I should have it. I hope so. Okay. So now, like if you use Riverpod, you have to provide a scope above the app. This is the same thing for Binder. So I will wrap a widget. And the widget for Binder is called Binder scope. So I had to, okay, it didn't want to import it, no matter. So the import is simply binder. So okay, it's good. I have put a scope above my app. So the Binder scope, you can see it like just like a map, where all the state of your app will be. It's a map because you will see later that to get the value of something, we have to provide it a key. So my app has a scope. The first thing I want to do is to put this name. To put this name. So the name is in the header. Okay. Dash data name. I'll go to the dash data name, and here we have a variable name, and it is set with this value, and I want to get it from my state. In Binder, I like to split, to separate the logic from the view from the state. The logic is what is a part of your app which is able to mutate your state. So here I will create another file which I will call logic.dart, and in this file I will put all my all the keys to reference my state. No gap. Okay, screen main. We copy paste it here. Okay, so here I want a state to represent the name of my dash data. So I will create a state ref. I will call it name, and I will provide it an initial value. So the initial value will be the name of my data. It will not change in this demo, but maybe in an evolution of the app, we can be able to change it. So I start to give it a state for the moment. Okay, so I will name it -punk. Why not? -punk, okay, and I want to use it in my screen. And there were the data name. So here to get a state, you can use an extension of build context. And I didn't import binder, I think. No, so I will add it. Otherwise, we can see it. Okay, and so context, and we can call the watch extension, and we provide the state ref, which is the key in the map. So here I will put the name ref, and if I save, the data name should rebuild, and we should see here the name I give it. Okay, good. So all it is, I just use hot reload here, and all work. Okay, good. So to maybe I was not very clear, so I will come back to it. So here the state ref is not the state of your it's not the state, but it is the key you can use to get your state, and you provide to your state its initial state. That's why I had already here the initial state I gave. Okay, that's good. We have a name. So we will also give its level. So its level, we'll do the same thing. We'll create a state ref. Yes, a state ref. I will call it level ref. And I will, no, I want to give it the level 1 to start. Okay, so I copy its name. I will go to the level here, and I will do the same thing. So, okay, I don't know how to write, but it's not okay. And level ref, if I save, okay, we can see that. So let's get something more interesting. We want to level up when we click on this button. So far it does nothing, and we will fix it. So to mutate a state, we have to create a component called logic. I will create it, and our logic, I will call it level up logic ref. So this is a simple class which use a component in Binder called logic. This component will provide us some methods to read, write, update our state as if we were in a widget, if you want. We will have to provide it a scope. This is something to get the nearest scope to change our state. So here we want to add a method to level up Sorry. So okay, live coding is not for me. So here, what I want to do is to write the level up state. So I will get the level ref, and I will choose to set it to increment it. So to increment it, I have to first read it and add 1. So to read it, I will use the read method on logic to get it, level ref, and I can add +1. Okay, so I have my method. Now, in my screen, I want to be able here to level up. So what I will do here is to get my logic. To get your logic, it's a little different than getting a state we want to use the logic. We don't want to watch it. Because, yes, when I use watch, the meaning of a watch is when your state will change, you want your widget to be revealed automatically. So you want to watch the state and to be able to rebuild. So here the logic, you don't want to watch the logic because the logic has no state. This is just a piece of your app to mutate some states. So here I want to get my level up logic ref and I want to call the level up method. Okay, so if I click now here, we will the level should increase automatically here. Great, that's work. Okay, good. Let's do something more interesting now. So I have some pods remaining. Okay, I will create also a ref for it. So sref. Okay, sref. I said I don't know how to write. So unaffected ref, and I want to give it 8 for initial state. I will go in here, so I have my remaining points here. Unaffected is here, yeah, and I'll also want to watch it. So 10 points remaining. Okay. Now I want to be able to level up only when these points are 0. For the moment, I can level up anytime. So here in my level up button, I have an enabled variable, and I want it to automatically change when the points are 0. With Binder, we have something called computed, which is a derived state. And this derived state can watch one or multiple other states, and when its value changes, the widgets which are watches this computed value can change, can be updated. So I want to can level up ref, so that's computed, and I only want it. I want to watch the level, no, not the level ref, unaffected ref, I said, okay. And if it's equals to 0, I can level up. So I will go to my screen, I will go to my button, then I will call the same thing, watch. And now I will be able to level up only when the points are 0. It has been automatically rebuilt, and now I can't level up. How? So to level up, I have to increment or decrement something here. Okay, we will see something now more difficult. All you saw for the moment is maybe 50-60% of all you have to know to use Binder for the basing things. This is not really there are not more. Sorry. This is very simple words, simple how to say that? Sorry, simple things to know. You don't have to know a lot of things to get effective with Binder. So now I want to be able, yes, to be able to do something with my StatCounter. The first thing I want to do is to set the name of each stat. So how can we do that? Because we saw that we could, if we want to create sorry. We could create a lot of state ref, 4 state ref for the for name, 4 state ref for the value here, but that's not very efficient. What we want to do is to have a scope for our counter, its own scope, because it will have its own state. Each stat counter will have its own state, in fact. So we want to wrap it with its own binder scope. Okay, binder scope. Right. Binder scope. Okay, its own binder scope, so that you will be able to get the state from the binder scope above it, but it will be also able to scope, to put a limit with its own state, so that it will not share state with other instances of StatCounter. So the first thing we want here will be to have a name. So I will create the name ref. Stat name ref, maybe. No name ref. That's good. Okay. I don't know the initial value, so I simply put here the empty string. You can wonder why in this case I don't create another logic Dart side by side. That's up for you. That's up to you. But here I don't want anyone to be able to use my own refs, so I will put them private to my library. So I have a name ref, and I want to be able to get it here, so I can watch it. Next, watch, and my name ref. For the moment, it will not work. And I want to have a different name ref, a different state for each stat counter. This is a little complex, but we can do this by setting an override. An override in binder will tell the scope that every time you encounter this reference, you want to use the overridden value. If I will go, it will be more explicit. So here I want to override that with the label of the stat counter. So each stat counter will create in binder scope, and each one of them will use the same reference, but in another scope. And we set the initial value of this. We set the value of this state, of the reference state, with the label we have here. So now, if I set save, we should, yeah, good. We have the things we have here. So here I have strength, agility, wisdom, charisma, and in the stat counter, you have the good label above for each one. I'm sorry, I'm very I don't know really how to explain things very well in English, so I hope this is understandable. But with multiple examples, you will see. So here I want to no, not here. I want to here to put them to uppercase. Okay. Yes, that's better. So what I also want to do is to have the current value of our stats. That will be more complex. So if I want to do it, I can create a state ref here. I will create current stat current stat, which will be in fact, yes, okay, a state ref of a state ref. Yeah, no, not that. Maybe, or maybe I will go to it later because that's yes, that's difficult. That's more complex. So what we want to do here is to be able to get no, I have to do this right now, sorry. So I will create my current state, current stat ref, okay, and I want to have a stat ref which will be a stat ref of stat ref here, and the initial value will be null. Okay, and I also want here to be able to override it, and you will see that we can pass it here. We can pass override it. Okay, here what I want is another state ref. The other state ref will be passed here. So I will create a state ref of int, and I will call it stat ref. Okay, good, stat ref, and I want to override it here, so that every StatCounter will be able to get the a reference I will define later above. Maybe I will define it now because it's not compiling otherwise. So what I want here is to have a list of stat ref to be able to modify them later. So I will create here a stat ref, which is a stat ref of a list. I will copy paste, it will be better. Okay, stat ref, okay, I'll give it a name, but we don't care, that's not important. Okay, so here I create a list of stat ref, and each stat ref is initialized to 1 as initial value of 1. Okay, and I will create, just to be more accurate, an enum stat, which will help me to get the type ref I want. Sorry, I will drink later a bit. Okay, so now I have the reference to the 4 stats I want to change, and all these stats are referenced by this this key. Okay, now what I can do, save this, and here I can not here, not StatCounter. Okay, here I can pass the stat ref I want. So I will have to get here. I will have to get all the stats. So I want to watch them, stats ref. Okay, and here I want to get the stat ref associated with the good stat. So here I want the stat ref for the strength. Here I will want the stat ref for the agility, and this is just a matter of index. So here I will get the one with the index. I have created a stat enum, so let's use it. Strengths and index. Okay. Here. Okay, and I will change that by charisma. Here it's wisdom, and here it's agility. Okay, so now each of them as, okay, what I did, non-incremental StatRef, because I didn't save that. Okay, now it's saved. Now it's good. Okay, and I want to be able to display it. So now, if I do context watch stat value, this is just my to be sure that's it. Okay, here I want to display the initial value of the state ref, because this is not what will be changed when we want to increment or decrement. What will change will be this part. So here I just want something the initial value of the state ref. So I get my current state ref here, and I will get its initial state. So the app reloaded with 1 because I set 1 in the logic part. I set 1 as the initial state here. Sorry. And now what we can do is yes, is to be able to increment it. So to increment it, we'll create, like for the logic, we'll create a component to be able to mutate our state. So here I will create stat logic. So lref stat logic ref. Okay. Okay, that's pretty good. And I want to be able to increment it. So void increment, void decrement. What we can do? Okay, so we want to increment it. So to increment the stat, we have to get stat ref associated to it. So we will create a variable here, state ref, int, and I will just call it stat ref, and we want here to be able to have the stat, so this stat ref. Okay, now we want to be able to set the stat ref. So as you can see, we don't know here what is the stat ref we want. So we'll simply put a simple state ref int. We don't care what. This is just so that it can compile. But we can, like our states, we can override our logic reference also. So our collect overridden with, and now I am able to create my stat logic. Okay. I have the scope here, and the stat ref is the one which is given to the constructor of the StatCounter. So each StatCounter will have its own instance of stat logic. Now, if I want here, I can increment just by getting the current, no, it's current stat ref. Yes, current stat ref. No, stat ref here. To increment it, what I want to do, stat ref, and yes, I want to read it and increment it. And here I want to do the opposite. I want to decrement it. Okay, now we can use in the increment button. The increment button we can use so context, I choose stat logic ref and the increment method, and we will copy paste that to the decrement button, and here the decrement. Okay, that's pretty good. No, what should happen here? Nothing, because as I use the initial state, this will not change, but this would change. Oh, maybe what we can do is to change the remaining points, because every time we increment a stat, we have to decrement the points remaining. So we will change this, and here what I want to do is to get the unaffected ref, and here I want to decrement it, and here I want to increment it. So now if I, yes, okay, that's good. Oh, no, yes, okay, that's good. There is, for the moment, there is no nothing that blocks it, so we can do whatever we want. Okay, and now what we want to do is to see this, because it would be better. So this can be calculated with the unaffected points and the current value of our stat ref. So we can create computed that will calculate it. So I will create a stat difference ref, and I want to, the first thing I want to do is to watch my stat ref to get the state ref here. Yeah, I know. So the stat ref here, I want to watch it. State ref. Now I have a state ref, and now to get the real value, I have to also watch my stat ref. So to get the stat, I have to watch the stat ref. So with Vendor, you see, you can do pretty much anything, because you can have here a stat ref which is able to watch another stat ref. That can be useful when you want to have a component which has its own state, like this. So here I have the stat, and what I want to do is to compute the difference between the real value and the initial states of our state ref. And as a reminder, the initial state is that. So here I want to return the stat value, yes, minus the stat ref initial state. And now what we want to see is in the difference here, we want to watch this computed value. Okay, I save it. Oh, okay, good. So now I can increment, decrement, and you can see each one has its own state. Even if I used the same reference, because I overridden the state in the binder scope here. Okay, now we don't want the user to be able to increment as he want, or to decrement it as he want, because otherwise he can have -4 of a negative value, and here if we decrement too much, we'll have a negative stat. So we will put some limits to it. So we'll create a state ref to know if we can decrement our state ref. So can be decremented here. No, I said I want to create a computed value. So ref, okay, and can be decremented. Okay, so to know if I can decrement a stat, I want to get the stat reference. So the stat difference is this value, and I can decrement it only if it's greater than 0, than this constant. So first we have to watch the stat difference. I will watch our stat difference ref. Okay, here. And we can decrement it if the stat difference is greater than mean stat. Okay, now I will copy it and put it in the decrement button here. This is enabled only if it can be decremented. Okay, so as you can see here, it's 0. We can't decrement it. As soon as the value becomes positive, we can now decrement it. And here it's already negative, so we can't. And now, yes. Okay, good. We'll do the same thing for the increment button. The increment button, we don't want to be able to increment if here if the difference is more than max stat, and if the points are all distributed. Maybe it's not English what I said, but you will see. Okay, so I will create another computed reference. So can be incremented ref. Okay, so I want to watch the stat ref difference also, and I also want to watch the unaffected ref. Unaffected ref. So I want to be able, so we can decrement if the stat difference is less than max stat. That's the first thing. I will complete it later. Just want to see if everything works. So decrement now, increment button, context dot watch. Okay, okay. So here, okay, here, as soon as I've asked for, I can't go more than 4. Okay, but there is something that's not good. For the moment, we can have negative value is here. We don't want to have negative value here, so we will just modify this, and we want the unaffected points to always be greater than 0. Now, okay, so now if I put 4, okay, what I've done? And unaffected can be incremented, unaffected. Okay, this is the magic of the live coding. I will restart everything, maybe be better, or maybe I did something wrong. Okay, no, just okay, that's good. So now what we want to do is to finish this. So we want to be able to level up. So for the moment, the level up just change the level, but we want to get to put 8, another 8 for the remaining points, and we want to get the difference we computed to the new value of our stat. So to do this, we'll go to the logic and we will change a little less. So the first things we want to do is to get the stats, the value, the list here. So to get the list here, we want to read the stats ref. So now we have all the stats ref. Okay, and what we want to get then is to get each value, each actual value, current value of each state ref we have here. So we want to have the strength. To have the strength, I don't know how to write strength. Maybe no, that was GTH. Okay. To get the strength, we want to read the stats, and here I want to get stat dot to index, maybe. No, to index, or index, yes, index. Okay, and now we copy paste that because we want each one. So agility, then we want to have the wisdom, and then we want to have the charisma. Should have copied it. It would have been better. I don't know why I didn't do it, but that's good. Okay, so now I have the actual value. So here I will have 5. And what I want to do is to create another state ref for each one with its initial value set to the current one. So I will write my stats ref here with this new with the new things. So I will create here a state ref with the strength, past, okay, agility, wisdom, charisma. So doing like this, this value should be should change, should be updated. And what we also want is to update the unaffected points. So we just want to put 8 each time. Okay, and that should be good. So now I will just hot restart to have something clean. Okay, now I can add here some stats, and if I level up here, I should have here 5, 2, 4, 1. Yeah, that's good. So now I can add some other things. Okay. So that seems to work. I can, yes. Okay, I have my app now. That's good. Okay, that's pretty good. What we can do if we have time is to, if you have some question, I can maybe able to answer them. I hope it wasn't too complex at the end, but I wanted to show you how you can what you can do with Binder. So you can do some simple things, but also some complex things like that. But when you know how to do something like that, you can do everything. So that's it for me. I will stop maybe the screen. Okay, I don't know. Yes, right in here. Okay. I don't. Okay, that's good. I hear you. Maybe I was too fast. I don't know. No, that's good.
We do have some questions in the chat.
Okay, I will see the question. Sorry, I didn't.
Are you able to?
Yeah. I will. Why did you import the logic file from Binder? Why do you import the logic file from Binder? Here? Why did I import the logic file? I don't understand the question, sorry. I will go to the next.
Sorry. For this question, the user was wondering how the logic file was going to be used to map to the state to the screen, which I think you just hadn't gotten there yet.
Also, if somebody wants to ask a question now, you can raise your hand at the top, and we can invite you up to the stage so you can talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so another question that someone asked was, when is it a good idea to use the override with functionality? Specifically, they were looking at the label and they asked, Why did you provide an override for the label instead of just using the one initialized in the constructor?
Yes, here because I want to be able to get the label from every widget below my below the tree. So if I want to do it, I have two choices. I can pass the label to the constructors of my stat name, but I like to have const widgets. So if I do this, I can't have const widgets anymore. So I prefer to pass it with binder. And here, because our widget have its own state, we have to override it because we have multiple instances of StatCounter. We can't use the same name ref everywhere, because if we do it, all the StatCounter will have the same value. I hope it was clear. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Same user, different question, and this is coming from a JavaScript user. But what kind of advantages does binder have over Redux?
I think the main advantages is we have less boilerplate, because I'm not an expert on Redux, but I tested it a little, and in Redux we have to create for every actions you have. Maybe I will do some. I will say something wrong, but I think for every actions you have to create a reducer or something like that to be able to create your action. And here you just have to create, in my logic, yes, a method. So you don't have to create a lot of boilerplate, in my opinion. But you can also have all the benefits of Redux, with, in my mind, is to be able to get the undo redo easily. This is also implemented in Binder. All states will can be recorded, and you can do undo redo like in Redux. I don't know if it's answers the question. I hope. So, next question. What do we have to create a stat ref in StatCounter to provide a label? Oh, no, that's a question I just answered. Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So what is stopping you from making Binder 1.0? It's it's 0.3.1. So what's stopping you from saying, oh, it's officially ready?
So I want to be transparent. For the moment, I didn't use Binder in the production app because I didn't have the opportunity to be at the beginning when the app started. So I didn't have to choose the state management solution. But the next time I do a production app and I'm here at the beginning, I will use it. So that's why I didn't put the 1.0 for the moment, because I didn't tested it myself in production. That's only that. For the moment, I think I need to use it. I need to create a lot of other templates to be sure that everything is great and everything works as I intended. But that's all. For me, it's just because I didn't battle tested it myself.
That's good, because that leads me to the next question. So it sounds like you're not currently using it in production, but
Yes.
you will on future projects.
Yes, every time I use something else, I want to get back to Binder. but maybe just because I created Binder as I wanted to use a state management solution.
Mm-hmm. So is there
And
any hesitancy with your current project? Is there hesitancy with switching over from what you're using currently?
so can you repeat? I didn't understand the word finishing by tendency or.
Oh, sorry. So the current project that doesn't use Binder, is there any reason why you wouldn't migrate to Binder?
Oh yes, that's it. Because for the moment it uses MobX, and that's great. But I don't want to change everything because I like Binder. That's not how I think. It was a team choice. I respected it.
Cool. I think we're waiting on another user to ask his question. John, did you have any questions?
No, I think this is excellent. I love that you still have the ability to see the initial state early on, as well as the read and write down the way. If people are just getting started on Binder, do you have resources that that we should look to so that we can learn more?
Yes, actually, on the Binder repo, I've written some documentation. Mm-hmm. If you want to go through them, and I also created a lot of examples. So you can have here some examples like under redo. Is the same example as Riverpod, the to-do example. So if you want to compare some things, you can just compare them. The provider shopper repo on Flutter. Some other things, how to connect it with Firebase and with streams in general. The simple counter app, and what I can call architecture is how I see how I will architecture a whole project with Binder. So you can see all this example if you want, and there is also some documentation here, but I know I have to provide more tutorials or something like that if I want people to use it more often. But for the moment, I don't have the time to dig it up.
Always a rate limiting step. Thank you, Tristan. We have you on the stage, and if anybody else wants to go on the stage, if you actually want to physically ask it, or we can read your questions, we're happy to do either. But Tristan, you have the floor.
Oh, hi. Are you listening? Oh, thanks. Mm-hmm. Sorry for the raised hand. By the way, thank you, Romain. Merci, Romain.
Merci, Tristan.
French over here. So. I'm coming from JavaScript world, so that's why I was asking all those questions regarding Redux. In fact, my first question was referring to the logic.file. I want to be more precise. I didn't see where did you import that file for Binder, so it sees all the decorations to put inside, so that the Binder can provide all those data, all those variables to the widget. So that's what I wanted to see, in fact.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, I just imported it in all the files I want to use the variables here. I said variables, but they are not variables because they're immutables. They're just references, if you want to say that. So here in screen, in screen.
The screen dot.
Yeah.
The screen dot is just below the main dot file. Yeah. You have
yes, here I have the main. So in the main, I load the screen. Okay. And then in the screen, I load the logic. Okay. I use the screen.
Okay, that's easy. And can you explain a little bit more about the concept of scope? Because this is something that is really interesting, because it seems that the logic file has a lot of global logic. And at the same time, the scope seems to give some kind of local area, local scope to each of the stat counter dot widget, which is really interesting, because we don't see that often in other state management systems. And I was referring to Redux, because in Redux you can slice the different stores, while in your framework, in your system, you have the concept of scope, which is different. So that's what I wanted you to explain a little bit more, maybe.
Yes, okay. So the first thing I want to say is, okay, that is effectively global variables, but they are not variables in the sense that you cannot change anything in them. They are immutable. So for me, it's fine to have some global instances of something which is not mutable, because you can change anything. And the actual state is really in binder scope. So if I want to explain a little more this, each time you use context.watch, you will get the binder scope above, not the most above.
Yeah, it's like a higher order component.
Yes, that it's
the higher scope, which can provide to any widget that is below. Yes.
That's it, and the state is in the scope. So and for the stat counter, when I overridden all this reference, I said it that every time some things below you want to get access to this reference, don't go up, stop to you and give what you have.
Yeah, because when you make those overrides, in fact, you are taking all the values from the highest area of the highest scope, and you provide it to each of those widgets. Because you made an override, you take the values on higher level to each of those local values, right?
I don't get the effective state of the scope above. I just here how to say that, redefine how the reference will work under this scope.
Okay.
So if we want, we can use the stat logic ref also in here, but it will have a different state if we want to watch it from here, or if we want to watch here from there. Because here I provide it, so the scope, this scope will provide its own stat logic, and the screen, the main will also have a logic if you want to use it here, because every scope, as soon as you want to have the state of a reference it doesn't know yet, it will create a state for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question.
We do have a question in the chat. I see some similarities between Binder and RiverPod. Binder scope, provider scope, global references to keys, read-write context extensions, yet they were released around the same time. What are the advantages of Binder over RiverPod? And I'll just add vice versa.
Yeah, that's right. Binder was born when I saw RiverPod and Atoms, I think, which is not atoms. I don't know. Another framework in React. So yes, they share a lot of concepts, but they're different because in Riverpod, all the inherited widgets, all the widget tree is re-implemented, whereas in Binder, everything is coupled to inherited widgets in Flutter, because I didn't want to have something how to say that complex to maintain and to debug. I wanted to be based on Flutter exclusively, and first I wanted to see if I could do something like Riverpod, but just in using the Flutter's concepts, and it works, so that's why. And the difference, the big difference also with Riverpod is I wanted to have something very reduced in terms of components. I don't want it to have a lot of providers or a lot of different concepts, even if I had to add some widgets to make things more easier to use. But I wanted to have something very, very lightweight. That's why I also created Binder. And the other things is I really want to separate the logic from the state, from the view. And for me, it was the main axis to create this library.
Great, thank you. Next question, I see from the docs state that state can be a complex object. Would it handle value changes in the objects referenced in the state object? Say class A, class B with A refer A. Would the changes in class B also build the widget that depends on A?
I have to read it because I didn't understand.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I could explain that. And Abhilash, if you want, I can invite you up to the stage so you can verbally explain it too. It's about 5 or 6 comments up in the live chat.
The first thing I want to say from the first question, yes, Binder can hold complex objects, but these objects have to be mutable if you want them to, if you want your widgets to be able to change when the state changes. What I want to say is here in the logic, you will see that I use a list. If I change, if I add something in the list, not in the logic, but yes, well, I can change the list. I can watch this list in the widget, add something in this list, but in fact, Binder will not be able to see that this list changed because it is mutable. We have to create another instance of the object, which is why I prefer to use immutable objects. But here I didn't want to use another package or something to create immutable lists. So I use a list, and I make sure that when I want to change something in my list, I recreate a big another list here. So I think that can answer the first question. And for the last one, say class A, class B, I refer A. Would you change in class B also? No. Yes, if you want your class, in class B, if you want to set, if you want this to change, you will have to recreate one instance of A or one instance of B. You have to create another instance holded by the state ref, so that Binder can see if the two instances are equals or not.
Great, thank you. One other question: can Binder work with MobX? Sorry if this was already answered.
No, that was not answered. Yes, I don't see why you couldn't use with MobX, but in my opinion, we should only use one state management solution, because otherwise the team can be confused where we're using one state management and when using another one. To me, they're doing the same thing. So we don't we can use them if we want together, but yes, we could use them together in if you want to migrate. For example, if you have an app with MobX and you want to migrate progressively to Binder, yes, you can changes some part of your app with Binder and incrementally, so that if you want to not do all of this in one commit, you can do it incrementally.
And a question: can it be used as a provider package?
Cannot be used as a, yes, you can use it if you want to pass, if you want to have the name ref here, if you want to get the name ref in any widget, you have just to create a binder scope and use context swatch in any widget to get its value. So for me, you can use it instead of provider if you want. And this is the same benefits as RiverPod, because here you are sure that any widget which do context.watch a reference, we will have a state, because if you put a binder scope, at least one binder scope we will have a state. So you won't have in provider a provider not found exception or something like this. As with RiverPod, you have the same benefits.
Great, thank you. One other thing, I guess, that I will add, since we are running lower on questions, we do have a lounge in the back, and I'm going to turn off the stream so that you can separate out into groups if you want. Do you think, Romain, you'd be willing to stick around for another like 5 or 10 minutes just to answer other questions or things along those lines? Yeah.
Yes,
and in this lounge, if you want to meet with some of the other people that are a part of this discussion or that are a part of this this meetup, feel free to, and there's 12 tables, so make use of whatever you want. Each one is essentially its own individual meet discussion. So I do want to thank you so much for your time and for live coding. Well, Pat, all of your excellent work with Binder. I think it is.
Thank you.
It is never easy to do a full hour-long live coding session, no. And it's greatly appreciated. So, we definitely enjoyed what we saw.
So, thank you very much for inviting me. It was really great to be able to present that, and I was quite happy with my small app. And what I will put this app on GitHub. No, it's already on GitHub, but not the final version. And maybe it will be good if someone, or if I have time, to create the same app but with another state management solution. Yeah. So that anyone could see how complex it can be with another one, or if maybe with another state management solution, it can be easier for someone. So because this is some kind of complex thing to do with other state management solution, I think.
Yeah, and just to add to this, I'm always a fan of catchy titles, and Dash Punk has been making me smile for an hour straight. So
that's great.
I miss that they are, well, it's a different chapter in their life, but I love the reference that you made.
Yeah, I wanted to make a small reference.
It was not lost.
Good.
All right, I'm going to end the stream and end the session. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to say that I'm gonna say that I didn't find a Dash avatar with a Motorhead to put it, but that's good.
You can always add things. I added a stethoscope and some pink socks to my Dashitar. So
yeah.
never too late to add. Ryan, do you want to close us out?
Yeah, sure. Just a reminder that this is one of 2 sessions tonight. So if you can make it, hopefully we'll see y'all tonight as well at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. If not, you'll still be able to catch up on the videos on YouTube as well. So
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.